Good morning, guys. Toolman Tim here. Welcome back to the workshop where we build business, create community, find freedom, and share success. It's Wednesday, which means it's time for another Tool Time gear review. And of course, I've got another interesting one for you this week. You guys know I love my black and yellow, and especially when it comes to the Dewalt's landscaping gear. I've been putting them through the paces. You saw me do an unboxing of this beaut here a couple of months back, and now I want to let you know what my thoughts are on this beast of a 60-volt string trimmer. Okay guys, real quick before we dive into the meat of the review, if you need to know more about who I am, run by toolmantim.co. You'll find everything there is there. The weekly audio podcast, sign up for the newsletter, my social media links, and the shop that has over 100 recommended products that have solved problems for me in my handyman business or in my real world life. So check all that out and come on back here and hit that subscribe button. All right, guys, so you know, like I've said, I love my Dewalt gear and I love getting my hands on new Dewalt gear. And you saw my video a couple months ago unboxing this guy, putting it together, and getting rather excited like a kid at Christmas, getting ready to want to get out and play with this. Okay, so I have put this tool through its paces, both for the sake of my business and to let you guys know what I really think of it. You know, this beast has got 4.6 stars out of 1,200 reviews on Amazon, so that's nothing to shake a stick at. Now, you're probably wondering, Tim, what do you think of it? Well, let me tell you, we went out soon after we picked this up and we did an acreage, which is, you know, kind of a fancy farmyard for where people live out in the country. And we had, I want to say, around 2 hours of weed whipping. I sent my son with the small 20-volt weed trimmer that you've seen before, and I took this beast. And it comes with the 9 amp hour flex volt battery, which has tons of power. And I was able to weed whip, getting in that half hour to 45-minute range on that battery. I took 2 6 amp hour batteries plus my charger with me. I went through both those 6 amp hour batteries while I was charging and then slapped the 9 amp hour back on and never finished. So this thing likes to drink its juice. It has tons of power. You know, it's not quite as powerful as a comparable still gas model, but that's not really what I got this for. I got this for the fact that no vibration, no heat, no fumes, no smell, no ear protection, lighter, easier to start, no winterizing, all of that. But was I surprised? Absolutely surprised with the power. Now, it did come with the head that I did not like on the 20 volt, but if you want to see, I have used this guy a lot and it's holding up really well. Whatever they've done to change the design, and I can't see anything different, so maybe the one I had on the 20 was a dud, but whatever they've done, this thing does not constantly feed string anymore. This thing has no problem running 0.95, the octagon shaped sharp edged string that I get from Still, and it cuts like a bugger. It has the high-low feature on it as well. And whenever I'm in doing residential work, always keep it on low. And even when I was out doing the acreage, I kept it on low almost the whole time. The only time I'll switch it up on high is if I get those really big, you know, half-inch kind of weeds that are really thick that a normal weed trimmer would just laugh at and say, nope, not touching it. This guy will go through it if you turn it up on high. So that, yeah, power-wise, it's great. The only time I had any issues was in really, really thick, really, really wet grass, and that's to be expected. But as far as performance, again, what I say about these Dewalt battery-powered landscaping gear, it's all about 90% as good as the gas. And for me, all those benefits I listed earlier about no smell, no vibration, no heat, and all that, that is worth having 90% of the performance. And as time goes on, I'm sure they're going to get better. But that's okay. I love it. This has become my go-to for around town. Big comparison to the 20 volt. This thing is balanced so much better. I think it has to do with the longer head, the way the battery compartment is shaped back here. But you can just walk around and it's just balanced perfectly so that you can just walk and keep it there and cut a really nice, really straight line. Whereas the biggest complaint most people had with a little compact 20 volt one, and if you're wondering where that is, I had to send it back for warranty after just over a year, but they just sent me a brand new one, so I'm kind of excited. Adjustable handle helps with that balance as well, but there's no fighting. You're never fighting to keep that head down. It just stays right where you want it to be all the time. I wanted to dig in and share with you because I had a few questions. People wanted to know this quick attach connection right here. So that comes like this. You guys know how that works. And we just loosen it up and then everything just pulls right out like that. I'm going to leave it in there because if I do, I'll end up making a mess and dropping it on the floor while I'm shooting this review. So basically these quick attachments, there's a ton of them on the market. And the question I got was, is it compatible with Stihl? That seemed to be the Stihl combi system. Everybody wanted to know, does it work with that? And unfortunately, no. And that is not a Dewalt problem. That seems to be a Stihl problem. Stihl, Milwaukee, Ego, Echo, those four all decided to build their own proprietary systems. However, there is a very widely adopted, almost universal system for quick attachments on the market. And I got to read them to you because I got too many, but Ryobi, Trimmer Plus, Greenworks, Poulan, Craftsman, Troy-Bilt, Remington, Husqvarna, and a bunch of other no-name companies. They all use the same attachment, which is 100% compatible with Dewalt. Now there's a few nice attachments that Dewalt have. The one I don't understand is the blower attachment. I can't imagine hooking up a blower to one of these, but that's just neither here nor there. But they have an edger and they have a heavy-duty brush cutter. And those are the first two on my list. But one that they do not have is a sidewalk brush. And you guys might say, well, what in the heck do you need one of them for? They seem useless. But for me, a couple times a year, we get this frost when it warms up. It doesn't even have to get above zero, but when it warms up here and it's been really cold for a while, it kind of pulls this tiny, tiny frost up. Blowers won't take care of it. It's too much for a shovel. You try to push it off and it will just turn it to ice. But a sidewalk brush is perfect for that. And Ryobi makes one of them. Stocked through Home Depot, but you can get it online in a lot of places. And it looks like it would work really, really well. So that will be a fall review. Keep an eye out for that because I'm going to pick up the Ryobi sidewalk brush to run it through its paces and see how well this thing will power it too, because that's a pretty big brush to be pushing. So it'll be interesting to see how well this beast holds up to that. I think it's up to the challenge, but for what it's worth, I'm going to run it through just to see. So after a couple of months of this guy, what are my thoughts on it? Where do I end up with it? Well, number one, it is expensive. It was over $400 Canadian with the charger and the 9 amp hour battery. So it's an investment. It's not going to be for every homeowner, but if you do have an acreage, more than just a normal postage stamp lot, like I've always said, if you just have a residential lot, the tiny 20 volt will be good for you for years. If you've got more than that you need to do, this 60 volt is something to look at, especially if you're interested in adding some attachments to it. The 9 amp hour battery was awesome to get because those are, I want to say they're close to a couple $100 all by themselves. So that, anytime you can buy the package, you're always going to get better value when you get an extra charger and a battery thrown in for not a whole heck of a lot more than the tool. Now, it does like to drink its juice, so buy the biggest, most expensive, the highest capacity amp hour batteries you can get. I'm looking at getting a couple of the 12 amp hour batteries because I think they would be even better for this. If I had two of them, I could probably, nearly charge one while I run the other one out. But, get as much, and this is a flex volt tool, which I'm not sure if I mentioned or not, which means it only takes the 60 volt flex volt batteries. So I've only got 3 of them at the moment, 1 9 and 2 6s, but they have been enough to get me by and make this work. I mean, normally, how often do you weed whip more than, we did 14 lawns the other day, and I did all 14 on the 1 9 amp hour battery. So that lets you know how well that holds up. But if you're out doing a lot of like rural acreage style weed whipping, then you'd want a couple of them. So that's the biggest expense is the batteries. But once you have them, again, they're compatible with everything. They work in my chainsaw. Well, the 2 that I have right now is this and my chainsaw, but they also work on all the previously, the smaller 20 volt platforms. So you get big capacity that you can run on your tools. So do I love it? Absolutely. Is it for everybody? Not at all. If you're looking for a higher end, more well-balanced, more powerful weed whipper, then this is the guy to go. If you're looking for an inexpensive one just to do a little bit of trimming around the yard every weekend in a suburban urban area, probably the 20 volt was worth it. But for me, in my business, I have my suspicions this one's going to last a lot longer than the 20 volt did. So we'll see. I'll come back in a year, give you my thoughts and see if I'm still real happy with it, but I love it. Everything about it. The nice heavy rubber duty grip, the easy flip paddle for the switch there, the high-low settings, which I rave about all the time, which I thought would be an absolute throwaway joke, and they absolutely were way better. But after using this, doing acreages, doing around the town quite a few times, going out and doing oil pad lease, I'm happy with it. It works, it's quiet, and it just is a beast of a weed whipper. Maybe even we will Alright guys, so let me know what battery platform you use, what kind of experiences you've had with some of this landscaping gear. I know I enjoy it. I brag about it a lot. I just love talking about Dewalt landscaping gear. But if you're using Milwaukee, Makita, any of that stuff, just let me know. Throw it in the comments. Or if you've had good, bad, or ugly experiences with this 60 volt, I'd like to hear about that as well. And if you're new here and you want to hang around and find out more about our community, hit that subscribe button, interact, share your knowledge, give me video ideas that we can put together and create some really cool stuff. So guys, that's it for me for this week. As always, stay happy, stay healthy, and have a great week.